Huh. Do the Hawken devs know a lot of the reviews are shills and fakes? I haven't heard any official statements from the developers themselves, but their Discord is a very interesting sea of mixed opinions, and I was very clear, I was very clear to articulate at least my feedback that, guys, half the shit people get angry about with pay-to-win games doesn't apply to this game because it's PvE, so if I spend money, I don't hurt other players. Like, imagine Tarkov if I could spend money to revive. Like, someone kills me fair and square and I put $5 in the machine and get back up and wreck him. That's bad. Here, I got killed by an AI, so I should obviously get good to avoid that period, but if I put $1 in the machine not to lose all my shit because I died, who does that really hurt? Nobody. Actually, it keeps the lights on for everybody who isn't paying money to play the game, because nothing's free. Free-to-play games are built on the logic that 10% are roundabouts, the last time I heard a breakdown of this, that only about 10% of people that ever play a free-to-play game actually pay money. And the entire scheme generally is built around the game surviving off of that just 10% people, those 10% people paying for everyone that is ever going to play the game, period. The money's got to come from somewhere, and that 10% is actually paying to keep the entire game around, because if the game doesn't make any money, they can't keep the servers up, and the game goes bye-bye. So, again, a lot of things don't actually affect Hawken Reborn in it being pay-for content. However, we do have to avoid the problem like World of Warships, for example, where there are more premium and event vehicles than shit in the trees, right? That's obviously tilted the wrong way, right? The free players aren't really getting any content, and all of the new amazing content is based around you paying money or playing in events, which may also force you to pay money. So there's pitfalls, but not as many as normally you would have normally, and so we don't need to be throwing around the idea that any kind of premium content is bad, because, well, quite obviously, someone didn't get, Darth Vader out of a loot box and is proceeding to kill me and ruin all my fun, right? This isn't a game where you beat fun mercilessly out of other people. So, now that the game's actually started up in the background and I've wasted enough time, welcome to the show, folks. But remember that. This game isn't about mercilessly beating the fun out of other people, like we'll probably do in that shiny new SU-39 that's coming next patch for War Thunder. Apparently it has an IR dazzler, so nobody can fire heat-seeking missiles at you. And a lot of other fucking fucked up things, which is bad because that's me beating the fun out of people with something they can't respond to. See, that's why that's bad, even though I think that's fun, because, haha, I'm bullying people, fucked up as that is. This game doesn't have that, because if I buy something overpowered here, there's no players that are being shortchanged by this, because they didn't buy it. It's just PvE and co-op. Even funny enough, co-op, if I buy something overpowered, I can carry my friends that didn't spend any money. And also keep the server alive for all of us to play the game. So this is actually kind of completely backwards. It's only beneficial in that case, right? There are some pitfalls with that, but you see what I mean? This is what I was very, very, very focused on actually articulating, and make sure at least there's one person out there saying this shit, because it needs to be said. You mean to tell me the solution is waifu robots? I suppose in a way, it'd be kind of nice to, I don't know, maybe spend, $20 to buy a cute girl AI that follows you around? Get me robot Prez. But I did make some progress yesterday, and that may say 80. However, we've gone higher than that. So, let's see here. Where is that? All right, I was testing something, which, yeah, this is a base model Hornet that I drove up in threat level by just having better threat level guns on it. I still think there's some light level gear score shit going on here. However, you could definitely feel that this is more classy, but I would not be surprised to learn it. And again, the devs haven't said anything. I would not be surprised to learn that there is some kind of damage bonus penalty thing going on with, threat level, which, again, I don't like, but devs haven't said anything, so I don't necessarily know for sure, but I think there's something funny going on here. But, so what we're going to do is the logical thing, which is get in our mech and make it go up with threat level as high as it can go, So, gun there, and gun there, and 121 is my current level. I've also unlocked more things, but they fixed a bug in a patch the other day that was making the workshop give you free shit. So now you actually have to grind for resources. Oh no, because you see that error that I was getting yesterday when I didn't have enough resources? It would just cough the thing up at me as if I did. But they fixed that. So now I actually have to grind for resources. Oh no. Which, well, we're gonna need a fair amount of, because as you can see, I'm short on some of these things. So we can, well, actually, hang on here, because there's also a strange bug here where there are two Girins, or Gyrins, Girin rifles, right? So there's two of these, so I'm not exactly sure which one I actually put money in. Okay, neither. Waifu voice packs, dear God. Imagine one of them being an ASMR one whispering in your ear. They'd never run out of money. Well, see, funny thing, the AI thing in the story is basically whispering madness directly into your ear, but what if we made that a little bit more cute? Right? What if we made your horrible dementia and the voices inside your head more adorable and charming? Would you pay money for that? Some people would. What if we made the madness more palatable? Would that improve the gameplay experience? I think so. Right, but unfortunately, as you can see here, we need money, and so that means we need to go a-grinding. But that is what Patrol is, effectively. And the content is kind of sparse, but we're going to be testing something today. And we're going to be testing something that I didn't notice, but somebody else on the Discord actually pointed out. The threat level of the world enemies outside the missions does progress along with the threat level, but very slowly. And obviously doing missions and over time, the threat level goes up, but the threat level enemies go up in threat level much faster. Today what we're going to do is we're going to do missions up until we can't do missions no more. And then we're not gonna immediately leave. We're gonna ignore the missions after that and just hunt the world enemies until we get those guys up there. Maybe will cause more rewards. But as we can see, there's some things about the system that don't work and it's incredibly primitive. However, the concept I like. A Necrotica campaign in the making. Several, actually, honestly. That's just that's just a terrible dystopian future with benefits in anything, really. You don't have to bring undead children into this. However, Deku has brought up the concern that apparently a VTuber is retiring and they're going to be getting someone else to voice the avatar, which a lot of people don't like, but immediately gave me the idea of, hey, let's have a Zombieland Saga spinoff where a young starlet so full of life and her career was, there was so much to do in her career, so many possibilities, and unfortunately, she drops dead. So what do? The company, the label that's supporting the starlet still wants to make money, and this person, we can still get some mileage out of this car, as they say. So what if we took the brain of a living person and jammed it in the dead body and had them play along as that person? There's your Necrotica campaign. So me just looking at a crisis at hand and me going, not how could this benefit me? Simply, how could I make a Necrotica campaign out of this? And I did. Dead Idol just swap brains. Basically, yeah, so, as I call it, a Zombieland Saga spinoff. And I think that actually worked pretty well as a story, but I haven't got the time to run more campaigns. What's your favorite mech and favorite weapon? Unfortunately, I like the Atlas on theory. However, unfortunately, I need to work a little bit more to make the Atlas actually work. I have found that just going up in threat level is fast. Oh dear lord, man. Small family company. Early access beta, please understand. But I found that just going up in threat level as fast as you possibly can is the more preferable option, because more threat level, longer patrols, more rewards for grinding. So I'm not actually, I feel like there's at least an initial push to just play like the Apex, and just get the Girins, because those are the first weapons you get up to Mark 5s. So, just basically, you have a daily car, and then you have that side project you're working on. That side project I'm working on is the Atlas, but that's going to take a bit of grinding to get up to where I want it to be. This I don't necessarily agree with, and I think it's mainly due to threat level being so important, effectively, for scaling. Because I don't think my stats are my stats. I think threat level is giving me damage bonuses, and this is allowing me to stay competitive. It's not just raw stats of, oh, these Garens do more damage because they're level 5. No, I think it's because my threat level goes up, I'm actually able to do even more damage than the game's telling me I'm doing. So I feel like the whole thing, it's gear score all over again. It's nothing matters until you get top gear score. Once you get the maximum gear score, then you can start actually talking about builds and whatnot. Or at least it feels like to me. So what my favorite is hasn't actually entered into the equation, unfortunately. I'm sitting here grinding with the highest level shit that I can get, period. Because that's the most efficient way to grind, from what I can tell. It's the quickest way of getting the patrols to last longer and thus give me more resources. So I'm not allowed to play my favorite thing, or even develop a favorite thing, honestly, and that's kind of unfortunate. Which is why I don't like the whole gear score thing. Right. And also, yeah, Darklight, as Destroyer said, I didn't know that game came out already. I heard about it, I'm like, huh, that sounds interesting. And then somebody mentioned it the other day, like, wait, it came out? So we might have to go look at that later on today. We're gonna be here for about 2 or 3 hours, I guess. Just waltzing around, murdering everything in sight. But there are some things that I obviously don't like about the game, but the game came out 2 days ago, so there's plenty of time for this to develop. Also, apparently somebody's broken the map boundaries. Like, apparently there's a barrier on the side of the map that you can hop over that isn't actually properly secured by an invisible wall. And you can get out into the other areas of the map, and apparently there's other resource nodes out there, too. Clearly the game is a work in progress. Have you seen the new Egos and Limbus? The whatchamacallit? The warp anomaly ones? I have, and I think what we're gonna have to do is maybe today, maybe tomorrow, or sometime very soon, we're just gonna have to sit down and I'm gonna be sitting grinding mirror dungeons, because I need to get that done before the new update drops on the 1st. So we're probably gonna have a night of me just sitting here mirror dungeon grinding, because that shit needs to get done, and I need to grab a couple of things before it ends. Or this season ends and everything changes over. And yeah, the Matador one was very interesting. I saw that on the on the Limbus Twitter. That was odd, but Olay, as it were. Mirror Dungeon is only 3 a week. Yes, but you can continue running it over and over and over again to get more Battle Pass points, which means more ego shards and... Oh, right. I had to get the thing. Sorry. I'm falling into a groove of immediately knowing these missions by first sight, and I just happen to just think, oh, well, I know how to do this, and then I wind up forgetting something. But generally speaking, here, at least, back here, I'm enjoying Hawken Reborn. It's just that clearly things are very primitive and they need time to develop, but I don't see a problem here, and I like where this is going. We just need to... we'll get on with it. That might take a while, though. However, I do like the idea of, hey, it's a giant robot game that's PvE focused, so I don't have to mercilessly beat the fun out of other people in order to have any for myself. Again, I could play Marauders and Tarkov more often. However, that's... you need to walk up for that, or you need to play just that every day in order to be good at it. And even then, we still have issues like Tarkov, having wonderful statistics, like 60% of raids have a hacker, which, boy, that makes me feel good about trying hard and risking my fun and mood. Not every extraction shooter has this big of an issue, but, you see my point? Man, this is an arena of skill that only rewards me if I'm super good. Oh wait, people are hacking. So even if I'm super good, I can just get, shit canned out of nowhere because somebody's cheating. And I just have to take that and keep walking. There's no way for me to actually stop that. Wow, I feel so excited. Here, at least, it's a PvE game, so the AI has some bugs, like the asteroids instantly killing you. That's a bug. Well, I don't have people relentlessly cheating in order to, rob me of my fun. So again, I'd like for there to be more games like this around, but unfortunately, no one's gotten one super big, so the industry isn't rampantly copying it. So that's why that's partially why I'm here, because I like this game in theory, but also I would like more of these games. Can this be the new fad, please? Can we stop playing battle royales and extraction shooters for 5 minutes? Can I have some fun? Please? Thanks? It's not like I don't want the game to be challenging. AI can be plenty challenging. We play Arma. We know what AI can do. However, I'd like a different kind of challenge, thanks. And a little bit of, grandiose in this engagement. Because, like I said before, players will play in ways that aren't fun to play or watch. They will play in ways that make them more likely to win over you. Not, is this entertaining to fight against? That's their first concern. Winning over you. So, with the AI, they're stupid, they're wasteful, but there's plenty of them, and so they can compensate for challenge in different ways, and not be the most excruciatingly annoying things to fight, and not, like, bunny hop around the screen like they're fucking glitching. So, it's not that I don't like challenge, it's just that I would like a different challenge that isn't having to mercilessly beat insufferable people for any kind of fun at all. So please, make the AI challenging. That means you'll give me better rewards for it, right? I'll walk up to the plate for that. I want another Titanfall-like game, one that isn't sent out to fucking die. Well, unfortunately, this game is kind of in that situation with the review bombing out of goddamn nowhere. And to be entirely obvious, I look in their Discord and there's a lot of people nonsensically complaining about how the game isn't Hawken. You know, the game that failed because it wasn't popular enough. So, once again, being a devil's advocate entirely of my own accord, I had to point out that, hey guys, you know, as much as you want things from the old game, like PvP and whatnot, you do realize that you didn't support that game enough to keep it going, right? So clearly, as much as you say you like these things, clearly you didn't like it enough to keep it going, right? And somebody brought up MechWarrior Online, which is a terrible example, because against all my wishes, MechWarrior Online never died. It's still here. Hawken, however, shuttered in 2018. So, clearly, unfortunately, I hate these words that are about to come out of my mouth. MechWarrior Online was more successful than Hawken. Again, I hate myself for saying this, but this is objectively true facts. So, I'm not opposed to the developers trying something different, and I see quite easily that, hey, who would give them money to make the same game twice when it failed? Nobody. The problem for me is a lot of people think AI difficulty is to make them cheat. I'm looking at you, Armored Warfare. Some of them do that, yes, but you can make challenging AI that isn't just cheating. However, we do have moments in Arma where we really think the VC are cheating in those trees. However, you can make AI that's entertaining and also not fucking cheating. However, on some level, the AI has to know exactly where you are at all times in order to pathfind to you. So on some level, there is they do need a bit of help. But again, you don't have to make the AI cheating, and also you can make AI that isn't boring to fight. These can be done. However, people just have this perception that, oh, it's just AI. It's gonna be boring. I want to go fight people, because fighting people is interesting. And no, it's not all the time. And also, once again, I'm no stranger to challenge, but I'd like to play a game that's popular, that isn't about me mercilessly beating the fun out of other people so I can have any. I'd like things to be different. it does feel like old Hawken had a bit more momentum and weight to its gameplay, while here things feel spongy and floaty at times. Again, I honestly, maybe my memory's not that fantastic for it, but honestly, this is exactly what I expected when you said Hawken to me. I played Hawken back in the day, and when I think Hawken, I'm thinking effectively visually what I'm doing now. I'm playing a mech that has 2 guns, and I'm basically boost dodging around every 0.3 of a second to survive. This is effectively what I expected when you said Hawken to me. Other people seem to have different perspectives, I suppose, but this is kind of what I was expecting, and not because I love this either. I like slow clunk, so you know, this isn't exactly my cup of tea, but this is exactly what I was expecting. I like my Battle Fridge gameplay, but this is clearly, movement-driven, fast-paced combat, where armor and shield is a delaying tactic, not something you lean on, right? You don't stand out there in the shield against the sandblaster. You're supposed to avoid being hit by the sandblaster, period. Right? That's what this type of game is, and I can acknowledge that's what this game is, even if I don't actually like that. Yeah, this looks like MWO Twitch shooting to me, and yeah, again, that's what I remember of Hawken, so I didn't notice anything odd. Like, there might be slight differences here and there, but if you said Hawken to me beforehand, this is exactly what I would have been expecting. Again, I'd kind of like the slow Battle Fridge gameplay to be meta-compliant and competitive, but I was expecting that, no, that's not how the game's going to work out of the gate. It's going to be about dodge tanking and being fast. Maneuver and firepower over durability and firepower. Because right now, I can absorb a load of damage because things are easy right now. It's mainly due to the fact that I kill things so quickly right now, but as we've seen, we've gone up to the top. We've gone up to threat levels that actually give me problems. We see very quickly trying to stand out and fight things in the open at comparable threat levels clearly stops working real quick. So clearly this is about going fast and killing fast, which again, this is what I expected. So I had to just kind of tilt my head and go, huh? At people complaining that, oh, well, this isn't Hawken. Huh? This is generally what I remember, so yeah, sure, the art style looks different, but also I think that those complaints are somewhat moot because I don't think we had an environment like this in the original Hawken, because all I remember is basically techno-favela cities and deserts. This is clearly not either of those. It's a lush sort of, backwater sort of area. I don't think we had very many, if at all, environments like this. So I think that's mainly down to throwing people through a loop because we just don't have the same type of environment. If they made LOL Solo Nobre, like I said for that hypothetical Brigador collaboration, then people would probably immediately show up and go, oh, this is what it was, because it's a city. I would call it desolate more than lush. Well, I see a lot of greenery here, even though this is red instead of green, but also green in general as a color palette. I remember lots of grays, lots of concrete, lots of sand. This is just dirt and vegetation, plus the green toxic fog that's clearly, covering everything. I don't remember an environment like this from Hawken. That might be my own mistake, but I don't remember most of the environments being anything like this, which is probably causing people to go, well, this is different. The art style's changed. I don't think so. Though, however, having a look at old gameplay, the cockpits did have a bit of higher detail and a little bit of more of, artistic touch to them. There's small little details here and there, like dirt on the screen or on the display and whatnot, and some smaller details that clearly didn't make the change here. But those are minor details overall, I think. What's with alien worlds having green skies and red grass anyhow? Like, a lot of people do that. Well, haven't you heard of the red weed from Mars? It looks odd, but there's some green grass. See, there's some red flowers, but that's green. That's totally not toxic. You could probably eat that, and you probably wouldn't die immediately. But wait a minute, what am I doing? I'm not getting involved. You guys are small time. What the fuck am I doing? Did see a brutal camera bug when someone tried to ride a car during an escort mission. I have not had that happen, but see, look, green trees. That's normal. So, like I'm saying, this is more green and, you know, with more moisture generally in the area than anything that I remember from actual Hawken. I remember arid deserts. There's a snow map there that I don't quite remember, but it was there. Mostly arid deserts. I think there was one forest map. I think. But it was mostly arid deserts and urban environments with like I said, techno favelas, like apartment buildings stacked haphazardly on top of other apartment buildings. Which has its own style, too, but we don't have anything quite like that environment. So this is kind of close, but clearly also not. Like, we only have small areas of urbanization on this map, which is, I think, fucking with people. Fucking asteroids, and they're fucking draining my health. Those things might be kind of overpowered. Those things might need to change a little bit. Those things might need a nerf, because the asteroids are suddenly very shockingly effective out of nowhere. Apparently, they're also bugged, because they can somehow hit you, destroy all your shields, and take all of your health. Like, half of your health instantly. Because apparently, that's how I died in the Atlas that time, because it happened to me again later on. Actually, it happened to me 3 times. So those might be bugged, but see here. This is kind of like one of the only areas with actual, like, urbanization in it, and it's not that big. Like, if the entire map was structures made like this, people would say, oh, well, this is Hawken. But the entire map isn't that. It's mostly, it's mostly just, you know, terrain, natural terrain, like rocks and trees and water, and not buildings. So if we had more of that, people would probably shut up. But there's always room for more patrol maps. Like I said, call up the Brigador devs and make Solo Nobre. It'll be great. Why did I boost into them while reloading? Also, I did make the suggestion for melee weapons. We'll see how that goes. I also mentioned a flamethrower, too. Again, we will see how these develop. Wow, that guy was annoyingly hard to hit. Oh. Like, even a bayonet on one of these rifles, so I could just kind of poke someone at that low health. It'd be fantastic. Also, fucking wish the mech wreckage actually stayed on the battlefield instead of vanishing when you blink. That's an optimization thing, obviously. Well, actually, well, there's some. I think that's the tank that spawned, right? Or rather, no, I think that's a map object. But the, whatchamacallit, that's an optimization thing, obviously. We're gonna be running around rather quickly. We're not gonna be spending too much time in an area. The mech wreckage, it eats frames. Maybe with more optimization later on down the line, they could have bodies lay there for a little bit, but I can understand why they instantly disappear. I'm making an Arma 3 mission, for fuck's sake. I have to be very cautious about resources like that. I need to make sure that enemies that are no longer technically part of the mission get disappeared so we don't stress the frames or the server. So that's clearly a concern here, but the game itself is running perfectly fine. I wish that the detail was a little sharper. With the color palette being what it is, details get kind of muddy without the game showing me, oh, well, this is where the guy is because I can see the health bar. The detail could be, you know, can afford to be higher and a little bit more distinct in certain areas, but the game runs fine. I did notice that there was a slight increase in the drops for orange things, which I'm assuming is the rarest of rare drops. However, I don't know exactly all of the resources that I need. I just need to hoover up basically all of them like we're playing fucking Luigi's Mansion or some shit. I just need to walk around with a vacuum cleaner sucking up everything. And then maybe I could build what I want later.
Could you come and investigate?
Honestly, this looks like a planet that would have xenomorphs with this environment. Yeah, some wildlife would be interesting as well. Again, obviously not part of the... Yeah, wouldn't be part of the mission normally, unless, like, I don't know, the marauders or raiders out here just have, like, fucking pet, dogs that are, like, the size of a fucking cheetah or something. I don't think they would do anything to hard shields, though. It'd be very interesting to have, like, I don't know, like xenomorph flesh tigers running around trying to eat my mech. However, again, I don't think those would do very much to shields. I don't know, maybe they could maybe they could put bomb collars on them or something, and you have to watch out for them, because if you step on them, they explode and they damage you. Something like that. Acid spewing bugs. Also, that might maybe that sounds rational too. But then we're just being Starship Troopers again. We're gonna have a look at that game. I'll see what that game does well. But generally, I am very happy with ideas that aren't just yet another PvP extraction shooter. Thanks. It's not that I detest these games, but boy, howdy, do we have too many of them.
Head to the well at Grey Rock Underway. Maybe we can get to the bottom of this. I recognize those bandits. They've been making trouble at the settlement for weeks now. Take them to the cleaners. Good riddance. Now, let's see what they were doing here.
They're not all dead yet. Now they're dead. The prompt didn't show up, but I can hear the noise.
They've contaminated the whole system. You'll have to destroy the pipe quickly to prevent this poison being distributed across the island.
Well, apparently I need to sit here and shoot this a lot, so I will. I did it! Apparently I still have to wait 100 seconds. Oh well, free loot. Again, that guy. I would love to just melee that guy. I feel it. My mind goes, press F to punch him, like I'm playing Titanfall 2. Which honestly wouldn't be a bad game for this game to take after. I know Hawken has a distinct style to it, but I think we can do a little bit more than just Hawken. We can come up with more interesting ideas. Again, like the ability to just melee something.
Aha! Something's going down at the DLP. What do you bet? It's the same Burks meddling with our water. That's them, all right. You're on cleanup duty, Merc. Take out the trash.
Okay. Uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. Again, being able to punch that before it hits me. Like, if I a split second, if I punch it right, it flies away and explodes. Because if those guys touch you while they're doing their charge, they will damage you. So I'd love to have some kind of response to that rather than just trying to frantically run away. Because at higher difficulties, when they're not easily destroyable, those get very dangerous. Like, the asteroids are still the larger concern, but those get really dangerous. And wow, okay. That's a lot more mechs. But good, they drop more loot. And here are the drones again. Shields are still doing fine. That's not damaging the pipe. Well, then again, maybe I should farm you guys, because clearly you're going to be sending more mechs my way. And wow, okay, it's getting a little hot in here. I didn't take any damage, but if I get too used to that when I'm at higher difficulty, that will just instantly fucking kill me. Oh boy. Well, making me miss the Voltas already. Loot, 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 loot. More mechs. That's what we're talking about. Good! Good. Actual Giga Shards, because I need to upgrade me that Atlas. I'm going to be dailying that someday.
You've saved a lot of people today. Thank you.
This is just my hoopty wreck, right? This is just what I'm using until I make it big, and then I'm upgrading to something much larger. Larger, grander, more hit points. Which is it's nice to have goals like that. However, it's still kind of annoying that I really have to basically just drive the thing with the highest threat level first. The highest that I can get it first in order to optimally grind, and then after I've optimally grinded and have resources, then I can actually start making the mech that I want to drive. Unfortunately, it means that when I started, I wasted a whole lot of resources, and this kind of system basically tricks a player into wasting resources before they realize, oh, you're not supposed to really do that. You're supposed to wait, because you don't really have good equipment to actually, you know, waste anything on. Though granted, I'm not exactly sure how upgrading, how things actually work in terms of upgrading. I think how it works is that a standard, like, if you upgrade, if you take a weapon or a chassis from Mark 1 to Mark 5 while upgrading it, with Giga Shards and whatnot, I think you'll have more than if you just built it at Mark 5. In terms of better stats. I don't quite know yet. I haven't gotten there yet. My experiment is still being cooked on. Still cooking. Like, that Atlas is at Mark 2 currently, and I'm still getting upgrades for it. I need those shards, though. And yes, as people keep reminding me, yes, I'm excited for Armored Core 6. However, Dark Souls giant robots, I'm cautious of. And also the woman who drinks wine and gasoline.
But it never got to us. I'll send you the coordinates.
So I'm not exactly sure. I'm gonna have to play it because, again, Armored Core is, again, more moving than shooting. However, you could do some really funny builds in Armored Core. When I play an Armored Core game, I don't have an amazing pedigree in them, but I have played more than a couple, and basically what I wind up doing is just going into whatever arena, side missions that they have, and mining that out of levels and parts, and then proceeding to break the entire game, which is funny because Master of Arena is that the whole fucking game. So that's kind of how I do things, so I know you can make some really broken shit just by doing that. But the inclusion of Dark Souls-esque mechanics has me somewhat concerned, because I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work. I'm going to have to sit down and play it. So I'm gonna play it because it looks interesting and I like me a giant robot game. However, I'm not quite sure about exactly where they're going with that.
Could you grab those barrels and bring
So that's gonna be that's definitely gonna be I'm gonna buy it, but then I'm gonna have to see if I actually like it. I'll probably be playing it on launch night, so you can all come along with me and see what the game contains. If you're on the fence like me. This is one of the services I do still render. I buy games so that you may not have to if they're shit.
Oh, great. I know exactly who we're dealing with now. I'm sending you their location. With any luck, the other transport will be there. Heavy guns, folks. Someone's here to get us.
That didn't die. Bug. That's my shield. Ooh. I know what that is. That's Giga Shards. Okay. Please die at your leisure. I miss my grenade launcher, but I need the higher threat level to stay here longer. Also, I find that because of this, I'm not actually experimenting with... Oh boy, those are shotguns. I'm not actually experimenting with different weapon types because they start at threat level 60, and I'm hamstringing myself by building them and trying them for at least a game. This is kind of why I don't like this threat level thing, and I have the suspicion that it is actually affecting things. Because it's not just raw damage and raw hit points that are affecting the situation. At least I don't think. And so having the highest threat level to last the longest into patrols, and therefore grind the most, is the objective rather than developing personal preference. Because, okay, one of these Garens is threat level like 140. Like the Tornado, the heavy assault rifle that I just started getting, starts at threat level 60. Am I really gonna go back and get that? No, because I'll cripple myself and I won't be able to stay in the patrols longer. I'll be able to tell if I like it or not. However, I might as well just wait until I can get it at rank 5. Weapon style, how a weapon handles in terms of like idiosyncrasies, spread, rate of fire, whatsoever, and that kind of thing, varies, and that could mean I could prefer a certain weapon over another one. However, again, having to go back down in threat level means I'm hurting myself, no matter what it is. I will just not be able to last as long with that weapon, even if I think it's the best weapon ever. So I'm hurting myself for that preference, and I don't want to do that because there's so much grinding currently in the game. So this is why I'm playing the Apex with just 2 of the Garens, because they're the first thing you get that's Mark 5 and the highest threat level that's easily achievable.
If you want to know what's inside the barrels, I've got nothing to hide. It is wine, but with a little something extra.
Ah, NAS builder?
Petroleum.
No, I haven't. Never heard of it.
But it gives me the kick I need to get out into the field. So consider it a valuable strategic resource.
Some more complex death animations with mechs would be nice, though, since right now they just lose connection in all joints and then fall apart like toys. I mean, that would be nice, too. And, once again, thinking back to Titanfall, finishing moves, like Ronin's fucking, sword kill, yes. Because, again, as much as I understand the appreciation for Hawken, we could throw some things in here that makes this a little bit better than just Hawken, right? And things that are preferable as a mech game, and, well, guys, I don't think Respawn's doing anything with Titanfall, so I don't think we're gonna see anything out of that in the form of mech combat anywhere. So, we have to take this flag and carry it anywhere we can. So, melee, glory kills, this sort of thing. Or just more complex death animations, things that are fun to look at, because we're playing a PvE game, and I'm shooting the AI that can present more interesting, circumstances than, a player. So having the AI have a really flashy death animation is perfectly fine here, and preferable, because they've got to be entertaining, and they can be more entertaining to fight than players. Like a player, I could sit here like, I'm behind this rock, and he's behind that wall over there, and we're basically hunting pixels trying to shoot the corners of each other's hitbox. If he drops dead over there, I'll barely fucking see it because he's being so evasive. Meanwhile, I am mostly standing out in the open and watching things die. Speaking of bugged animations there, that one just kind of popped with no explosion. You can make the infantry draft some more gruesome, too. However, that would probably immediately up the age rating of the game real quick. Because having them splatter into gory bits would be funny to watch, however, again, age rating. Also performance, if you happen to kill a bunch of them. You kill a bunch of infantry in a corner with an explosive weapon, and they all turn into bloody giblets, and then the blood effect starts spraying, and the body parts start multiplying exponentially, and then yeah, that would probably make the game go to shit real quick if you don't optimize it. In addition to being, oh dear lord, violence, but I don't care about that one. However, you could definitely take this places the way you're going, and honestly, I did want to see this game too. Granted, we want to keep to Hawken, because the game is called Hawken, so you want to maintain a certain style, but you see, the funny thing is, all I'm hearing, aside from people who dislike, people who are clearly part of some kind of scheme to shit on the game at launch, because there's definitely something fishy going on. There's just some generally dumb fucking people out there, but there's clearly something underhanded going on with people playing the game for 20 minutes and posting shit reviews like they clearly understand the game, or basically making joke negative reviews effectively to shit on the game. So as much as you'd want to honor Hawken in the way that it used to be, and give fans of the franchise, well, the one game in the franchise, what they want. Looking around, I don't think a lot of the people who liked Hawken to begin with actually like this game for a multitude of reasons, some of which are imagined, and some of which just come down to differing things like, oh, it's not a PvP arena shooter, so I don't like it. That's what Hawken is. We need to be it's not Hawken without that, even though no, that's not how that works, and I'm glad they decided to do something different. Because, guys, you remember Lawbreakers? Remember that? Somebody brought that up the other night. Remember Lawbreakers? Remember how the traditional arena shooter is McFucking dead? I remember. So you wouldn't have Hawken like it was, and especially, again, you have to go by the logic of what kind of publisher would pay you to make a sequel to a failed game that's the same thing as the failed game. Who would pay you that much money to make this game to fail twice? Nobody. You would either have to go through like a Kickstarter or get funding from somewhere, but then again, we already know that one, right? We go through a Kickstarter, we get we go through a Kickstarter, we get public funding, and then the best we get is like Star Citizen, basically, which that game's getting made, but boy, do people have some rough opinions about that. My opinion on that is, it's fun if, right up until it breaks. That's my stance on it. I'm having fun when I actually played Star Citizen, up until the game broke, because it ruined the fun that I was having. That's what got annoying about it. But there is fun there, but man, has that taken taken a very long time to get where it is, and man, is it still broken. So that's another situation that could go south rather quickly, so there's no guarantee of that. But I understand the intent to do something different with this game, and I understand that Hawken this is totally fine for Hawken itself, even if it isn't, Hawken the game that failed. Again, I can't stress this enough. Clearly, people, if you liked Hawken so much, clearly you should have been chipping in a couple extra dollars to keep the game running because, well, look at MechWarrior Online. I detest MechWarrior Online, but people are keep chipping money in to actually keep it running. So that means clearly they like it better than you liked Hawken, which yeah, that's kind of a thing to say, isn't it?
Pull back. Got a merc here and an armed mech. Cavalry required.
They're not leaving without a fight. Pity.
But I like that it's doing something new, even though it's different from the original game. We need to do something new now, otherwise we're just gonna have an extraction shooter with robots, which would be interesting, but I'd rather not just have another extraction shooter. And the market's already filled with them, so even if you had gotten that right with, you know, with getting up, you know, pleasing people that like the original game, there's no guarantee that it would have succeeded in that regard either. Right? It would have been just another extraction shooter of millions at this point. Thousands, more accurately. Hundreds, if you want to get really, you know, on the nose about it. Ooh, Giga Shards. If you want to be really factual about it, hundreds of other games, but you don't make money coming into a market that's already flooded like that with the same idea as everybody else. Just saying, oh, it's a giant robot shooter is like it draws me because I like giant robot shooters. I'd give it a try, but that wouldn't get everybody to drop what they're doing and start playing it. Granted, going PvE like this is inherently a risk because people detest the idea of playing an online game where you fight mostly bots. However, I know from playing Arma that that's entirely not, you know, what they think is going to happen isn't what could happen. Because good lord, if they made an online game like this, but it's like an Arma PvE mission, and we would never stop playing that. It'd also be horrifying left and right for a lot of things. I'd hope it run better than Arma though, but it would also be absolutely goddamn hard. There go my entire shields. Yep. Those are asteroids. See, that I can afford to walk into guns blazing currently. That stops working eventually. Remember that guy that we had to sit there burning like 5 recharges of a Volta to actually kill the other night? Yeah, you can't stand there and just gun that man down. You have to dodge. But this is really what... I voiced my concern about this with, you know, patrol mode. This is kind of a flaw because, as we found, taking on enemies of a higher threat level doesn't get you, like, instantly amazing drops. You don't get anything for it, so there's no real point in doing that. So effectively what we're going to be doing is leaving the moment the threat level gets too high to actually really, you know, be a breeze. Which is not a skill-based game. In fact, it's the opposite. You leave the moment it's a skill-based game. So I made sure to make mention of that too. Again, I want this game to succeed because I want this to go somewhere. Because I would very much like the fad for video games to change to something else. Please. Granted, as time has shown me, once the fad changes to something, I will eventually grow to hate it. In time. However, change is good in some cases like this. Or at least initially good, right before it eventually goes sour, and then we need to change again. And you know me, I'm all about fucking change. That's what the symbol I'm walking around with means, even if I just made it up myself.
I'm in a tight spot. The bandit crew has been on my tail for days, but there's a medicine delivery I have to make. I'm going to need backup.
Where is... I think this is a new one. Those guys are going to be hunting soon, but we'll just be doing missions to get the most out of missions. Because like I said, we're just going to be going as long as we possibly can. The missions are the first things that become, you know, inhospitable once they reach a certain, you know, threat level above you. Oh, it's an escort mission.
Let's get in
Huh.
Be able to avoid any unwanted attention that way.
This is new. I haven't played this before.
I can't do this if you don't protect me.
Yep, you aren't being shot at, you moron. So this is new. I don't think I've gotten this mission before. Okay. I know there was an update yesterday, but I didn't see if there was a mission today or an update today.
Turrets are malfunctioning. I don't see any other choice but to take them down. I'll have to get Haley to take a look at what's left. Bandit, incoming. The whole system has gone itself locked down. I can get in, but I need time. And here they are.
All right, come on, let's get to it. We all know the drill. I do something you guys don't like. You try and swarm me. I murder you all. We've been doing this for a while, guys. You see, I can see the infantry there, but just barely. Because their helmets are the same color as the lights. So they kind of look like lampposts from that distance, but I know that they're infantry there, and even if I can't see them, I go, is that them? That's what I said about the detail getting kind of muddy. That might just be my eyes. However, we could do with a bit of sharpness, and also, Giga Shards. Oh, Lord. Oh, those we do not want to stand in front of. I don't know what it is, but apparently there's some kind of bug where they just zap all of your health out of nowhere. So those we want to stay away from, because those are considerably more threatening than every enemy at their level. Get rid of that shit. A mortar launcher will be cool. Well, we have a grenade launcher. However, what I would like is like secondary weapons. Granted, you have a primary and secondary weapon, but let's be honest, you have two primary weapons. I'd like something that I could actually activate by hitting a button, like activate like hitting a button, or something that automatically fires. Like, imagine if I had like an AMS or a laser or a missile that just periodically shot at everybody around me. Ooh. Also, killing the drones will reward more of that. So we'll give you good drops, but apparently the mechs are the best drops, I think. Oh, look, someone actually chewy. Done and done. Although, I say that, and that guy did not actually drop anything above green. Noted, avoid flying jihad robots. Like, having an ability button. Exactly, like, again, going back to Titanfall 2. You had, like, secondary abilities. Like, I believe the North Star had a missile launch, or, well, Tone, obviously, but that was an entire gameplay mechanic around him. But you get the idea. Tone's whole thing was, my missiles track you if, I shoot you 3 times. So, that's basically a primary weapon that feeds a secondary ability. But I'm talking about, something that I could just press F or Q or E or something like that on, and then I have some kind of secondary, some kind of ability. A scan, some kind of utility item, or again, just more weapons. North Star Cluster had a cluster rocket. Yeah, right, the area denial rocket. And then Ion just had yet another laser on top of his other lasers. Ultimates? I don't think we need. However, abilities that, major abilities that are effective, I think we could do. Because I don't think I need an ability that charges up and I press Q and I barf out a huge laser for a couple of seconds. I don't think we need to go that far. However, equipment that can be changed out to make your mech unique, based on a set choice of things that you could choose for a specific chassis. Like, for example, I have a shield, or I have more guns, or I have something else, like, I don't know, a loot tracker or some shit. A shield wall and a sonar with his missiles. Right, exactly. You could make these more diverse, but we don't have to go the whole way of making it a fucking hero shooter. Like we don't need those ridiculous ultimate abilities that were even kind of cringe when we first got them. But, you know, now I look back, I kind of remember a lot of those fondly, even though we wanted more Titanfall 1, the mech is a mech thing and not, it's a hero shooter. And of course, Scorch. Everybody remembers Papa Scorch's Bar and Grill. But, yo, slamming the ground and creating a wall of fire was kind of ridiculous and still is. But you got to using it. You got to liking the ability and, you know, liking, you know, the utility of it, even if it wasn't what you wanted. And man, now I even miss the Frontier mode that they had, which is effectively what we're doing. This is effectively kind of a permutation or development of the Frontier mode, just not a wave defense game. This is effectively like an incredibly small open world variant of the Frontier wave defense mode from Titanfall 2. Now I remember that because I'm like, huh, well that was fun. Oh yeah, the Legion had auto-aim bullets, which, again, something we could totally do. And that's another thing you could totally do with, you know, some kind of special ability. And also, on top of that, with mentioning Legion, Destroyer, thankfully you remember all of this so I can remember it too. You're helping me jog my memory. Just, like, having, like, one-handed weapons for, like, a giant minigun. And again, having the special ability, or some special, or a list of special abilities, one of them being, hey, I don't have to aim no more. My bullets find the target that I'm looking at. Or every target on fucking screen. Like, you know, the UI at the front, or the crosshair and, you know, the elevation box that doesn't actually fucking move, which is, now that I note that none of that's animated. That's supposed to be like elevation and pitch, but none of that's actually animated. But just a square that opens up around this and it just starts, you know, putting red fucking diamonds on people and they all just die, and I just have to stare in the general direction. Monarch's whole gimmick was stealing batteries from other Titans to upgrade your abilities. Yes, the Zombie King. That was fun. And again, I kind of miss that, but you can't play that shit online no more. I think you could still play the Frontier mode in private matches, I think, and you have to figure out what the fuck they're doing with their private servers if you actually can figure out how to get that to work. But I miss that. I probably should have played that more, but man, I was fucking busy. You might have guessed it, but 2017, or 2016 to 2020 was not a calm time in my life. You might have been able to guess. Private servers are still up. Yeah, but you have to do some weird thing to actually get access to them. And, oh, well, that guy's actually durable. Granted, he only has shotguns, though, so that the risk is mitigated there. But, yeah, now we're actually up at threat level. That actually is a challenge. I think this is effectively the last mission we're going to do, or the second to last. Because, well, I can't kill the enemy no more. But we're gonna try and push this as far as we can go. Hey! Give me that. Give me that. Thank you. Fuck EA and Respawn for killing Titanfall for Apex. Whatever went on with some kind of hacker basically destroying the game itself was, you know, the cherry on top of that disastrous fucking cake. But I understood from the outset what Apex Legends was, because unfortunately they were correct. Oh wait, hey, I just realized that, accidentally using the mouse wheel, you can actually zoom. Nothing told me that. Absolutely nothing actually told me that. I just realized that. Ha! Apex was a mistake, but here's the thing. I understood Apex even from the get-go, because their logic, and they said this in an interview, it's entirely sound logic. They did make more money making Apex Legends over a Titanfall 3. However, this has led to awful consequences because they just kept making shit for Apex Legends and they have no intent to actually make Titanfall 3, period. I think my caveat back there was, if this gets us to getting... If Apex Legends is okay if it makes lots of money and gets us to that Titanfall 3. It never got us to that Titanfall 3. So, yeah, you could say that Apex Legends was a mistake, but it wasn't a mistake for their wallets. As a business decision, it made sense. However... They've completely abandoned Titanfall for everything we liked Titanfall for. They have made an arena shooter with everything but the Titans, which, well, they're a battle royale game with everything but the Titans, and they even added, yeah, they even went so far as to somewhat recently add an actual shooter element still without the Titans, which, again, what the fuck, guys? So, yeah, I don't like Respawn anymore, and I know a whole lot of people that don't. So, I supported Apex Legends for the sake of saying, hey, they're right, it will make money if they do this. However, I didn't expect their entire business model to be that and mediocre Star Wars games. I expected more. We didn't get more. So they got their money and they effectively just went, well, we can do whatever the fuck we want now. And then just proceeded to just forget everything about Titanfall. Which, yeah, no, that's not what I wanted. But so, well, look at this game. I mean, there are many like this, obviously, but, you know, have MWO, dear God help you. But this game, being successful as a PvE-focused giant robot game, again, might spin them into thinking, well, maybe we should actually make that Titanfall game, if this actually becomes successful. I'm not entirely banking on that happening, which I couldn't give a rat's ass if they ever actually go back to this, and I probably won't trust them as far as I can throw them even if they do that. However, I've got my PvE giant robot game. I'd like it to be more like Titanfall, because Titanfall had some fun elements for the giant robot things. However, I like this on its own, and I like where this is going. But if this becomes a fad, well, yeah, we might actually have more giant robot games, which means we might actually get those Titans back. But again, not holding my breath, wouldn't trust them if they did it. Because then you know they didn't actually really give a shit. They're just doing it now because it will make them money. Or they think it'll make them money. And though that kind of mindset, there's no creative impulse behind that mindset. You're just chasing money. So, even if we did magically somehow get that, I wouldn't trust Respawn. Ever again. Because the only reason we would have gotten that is because this game, or some like it, actually made money. And thus people, the gaming industry, being the gaming industry, starts rampantly copying the thing that's successful. And thus, well, hey, wait a minute, we've got a thing with giant robots in it. Comes out of the woodwork. Maybe Microsoft punches Piranha Games in the back of the head and goes, hey, we want our MechWarrior IP back. That one we gave you, we want it back. Again, will Hawken being successful really change any of that? No. No, it won't. But it'd be fun if it started a fad. I'm playing this mainly because I like this idea of a PvE-focused giant robot game. This ticks all the boxes for me, on its own. Granted, it's incredibly primitive right now, and will probably need several months to years in the oven. But I like what I see, and I want this to go somewhere, rather than just being, you know, thrown out like, you know, every other idea that didn't immediately work.
We're struggling here. Give it all you've got.
Oh wait, that's actually being damaged. I should probably pay attention, sorry, the robots were kind of chewy. The turrets are really chewy too, fuck. Oh boy. Yeah, no, that's gonna, I'm gonna start taking hull damage if I stand there. Ow, 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 ow. Oh boy, the skill has activated. Nope, 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 nope. Gotta wait. I'm waiting in the vat of ooze for my shields to actually recharge. Now I have to actually play the fucking video game. But the problem is, I know I will not make substantially more rewards during this period, because this period will last one mission. Now I actually have to think. I actually have to pay attention, or I don't survive. I like surviving, too. Oh boy. Back it up, back it up, back it up. So, I feel like this should be the difficulty of the game almost immediately, but... Oh, dear lord, it's an asteroid. Uh-oh. Oh no. Ah, da, 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 da. That will instantly kill me if something bad happens. Ah. The fucking asteroid spinning killed the mission. Well, there goes that. Wow, I actually failed a mission. Amazing. But the asteroid spinning and being horse shit actually did that, but I guess we're not doing missions no more. Dying is suboptimal, yes. But yeah, you see the asteroid, it went into its suicide spinning mode, which is very painful and will instantly kill you if you're not careful, and unfortunately it did that right in front of the fucking objective. And then it proceeded to instant kill what little health the objective had left. So, whoops. Those probably need to be readjusted. I feel like those are more frightening than most of the mechs you fight. But now we're just gonna be cruising around ignoring the missions because we can't do them no more. At this point, the patrol is over, effectively, for normal gameplay. But, however, the map enemies have only reached, like, 60-something. We'll get a read on a mech the next time we see it. The map enemies move, but move incredibly slowly. But so what we're going to be doing now is pushing this all the way to the limit. I'm probably only going to play one patrol today. Because this is probably going to take another hour to jack up the level, because we need to get lots of kills. We just need to start roaming around murdering shit until the world level goes up even higher. We might have to get the threat level up to, like, over 200 for the enemies to get somewhere even around 100. Whoop, friendlies. It's nice to know that these guys still kind of remain a thing. But there still is a major issue with the game effectively ending the moment it becomes a skill-based affair. Because you saw back there, I needed to, move around and, pay attention more to survive, and I still fucked up the objective, too.
They went to help Dougal in the caves, but we lost contact.
Not doing that! Okay, can I even, can I even just, no, actually I can't. I can abort the whole mission, but I can't actually turn down the contract. I'm thinking that's a work in progress, where you can actually, they'll probably give you a board to select contracts, rather than just handing you one periodically. That would be a little bit better. So that when I wanted to ignore missions, I could ignore missions. So that side of the map now is off limits, because if I go over there, it will trigger the mission. However, that's the caves. So we just avoid the caves now and start cruising and, killing more map enemies that spawn. Which is effectively just running around and trying to proc the random spawns. And yeah, the infantry dropping dead as they are is kind of, well, disappointing. But oh well. They could be a little bit more energetic. Because, ragdolls, even without, blood and gore, could be funny. Some mild entertainment watching the bodies of infantry go flying when you blow them to, when you kill them with an explosion or shoot them with, like, a railgun would be entertaining. It's very sad that infantry basically drop nothing. However, we know what the drones do. Pew pew, pew pew. Also, something I noticed last night that I didn't actually catch on here. There's a cave here. Because one mission brought me in here and I didn't actually complete it, but I came back later and this cave, in addition to spawning more enemies, this cave actually leads all the way back to the warp room. Back away. So if you actually follow this all the way back over here, you eventually come to this area. And that's a dead end. But if you hop up here, suddenly you're right in the start room. I thought that was actually kind of neat. The map is very simple, but, there are some kind of winding paths that will lead you to, like, loot drops and or get you to places that you didn't expect you'd go that way. Like, I could imagine if the threat level became a little bit too high, I actually probably need to use that shortcut to avoid being shot at on my way back to leaving real quick. if the game, you know, went off and developed like that. But right now, it takes absolutely goddamn forever to actually get to that point. We're going to be seeing how long it takes today, but we've already been here for an hour. Yeah. Stop denting my paint, you bastards. Are we gonna get the Ridge Atlas spawn? This one's really common. Nope, just the snipers. And hey, killing the infantry does make the threat level go up. Okay. Now we're 20 levels above our threat level, and I have yet to see an actual mech spawn, so I can't exactly see what levels they're at. Or we're just gonna be cruising around, trying to kill as many people off the missions as possible, because obviously we can't do the missions no more because they don't die. Ah, finally. Where are we? Here's Meg. 63. So we're at threat level 145, and the enemies are on the map are 63. So obviously we can keep killing them for a long ass time. It will eventually go up, but yeah, that's gonna be. Eee. They start at like 50, so it took them. They start at 50, and the world threat level starts at 60, so it took them over 60 to go up 10. This could afford to be increased, I think. But let's see if we wind up getting more drops if we stay here long enough farming these guys. This is the experiment for today. We just make threat level go up. Job board would probably be helpful, which they have this here. They have this. So obviously they have a mission that's currently being tracked. So obviously I could have missions that aren't being tracked. Like a job board I could interact with in the starting area, like a board or something that I could interact with that gives me a window that shows me the jobs currently available would be interesting, and it would also be helpful for playing co-op. However, they already have it in my UI. It's just very simplistic currently. And eventually the missions do go away if you ignore them. However, we couldn't complete that mission, so now we can actually go into the fucking caves because we won't proc the mission. Full of guys we can't kill. And I would shoot, actually. Who gives a shit about Sentium? You're all loot boxes to me. We want to avoid that guy, though, and clearly faction rankings probably will matter, which means that less friendly or neutral units will suddenly be enemies all the time. That clearly that's going to be something that's a problem. Like I could see there being a faction system where if I go to a certain part of a map that's owned or usually patrolled by a certain faction, and that pressure pipe icon is still there, bug. That's an hour after I did that mission, and that's still there. But I could see that going to a part of the map, and the area does get much larger. It's just that the areas that we could get into are walled off, which I'm not exactly sure how to get over the barriers, but there's apparently some way of getting over one of them. The invisible wall isn't high enough. So, I would think that going to a specific area on a patrol that's patrolled by, owned and patrolled by a faction that I'm friends with would cause them, cause more friendly units to be there, or other people who don't react to me. And thus, me just cruising around getting into less fights while I look for loot and other resources and things like that. Of course, I'm probably stealing it from the friendlies, but shh. No, nobody reacts to Link busting into people's houses, breaking all of their vases, and stealing all their money.
To locate some very lovely armaments. The type of help where stuff might go boom.
Well, you're gonna have to find someone else. Because I can't do me missions no more. They're too tough. Like, it's not even about skill-based after a certain point. I will legit run out of ammo trying to kill things at this threat level, which just makes it unplayable. And that happens almost immediately, which again, LOL skill. The moment skill is required, the game becomes unplayable, and not because I'm bad, it's because the resources run out. So there are clearly some flaws with this equation. Uh-oh. Yeah. You see? Even the asteroids that aren't really high up there will still, do the fucking over-damage bug and basically take all your shield off. So, they're all threatening all of the time. Until that gets fixed, at least. Which, Jesus Christ, it needs to be. But you see these guys. Those guys are cautious, or just neutral. They won't shoot me. Unless I shoot them. I can see a relationship or faction system that, allows you to say, well, I want to farm resources in this area, but this faction doesn't like me. If I do a mission to make this faction like me more, I'll be able to go into this area and farm resources without having to shoot so many things. And again, one of these invisible walls. I think it's the one over here? Like, let's give it a try here, just for the sake of being a good beta tester. I think it's this one that's broken. So there's evidently a way to get up here. That the invisible wall isn't high enough to stop you. Or rather, I guess they made an overestimation on it. I'm not quite sure how to get up there. I don't know if I can. They may have fixed it, but that was just last night. They'd have to push an update rather quickly in order to stop me. That's an interesting jank. I'm not sure if my jetpack even has the oomph to get me up there, because I'm using the tank model, which is, the tanker model, which is just for longevity. So I'm not actually sure that I can even get over there, but we'll give it a try. Yeah, I don't think I can actually get up there. You might need the Rocketeer to exploit that. But evidently, there is some way to get over the barriers. I mean, maybe I could go over there? That looks like there's a ledge up there, so maybe if I hop over there. Yes? Oh! Wait, what? I thought there was a pain field for a second, but no, that's just guys shooting at my mech down there. They must be from the dev team trying to stop me from exploiting. Okay, so I can see kind of ledges I can get up to, but let's see if I can actually get up there. Nope. Yeah, I think I would need a jetpack that allows me to actually go up higher, aka Rocketeer, to test the boundaries of this. Because I think there is some... Yeah, no. I could get up on some ledges. I see a way I maybe could get up there, but I'm not exactly sure exactly how I'd be able to get there up there with my current pack. So yeah, you could probably mountain goat up there. One of the checkpoints is broken. I'm not exactly sure if that's the one, but I think that's the one. Where the boundary just isn't high enough. Again, I'm not sure, but I know one of them is broken. And, unfortunately, there's not much to see out there, but they are actually... It showcases that the area for the missions is much larger. The area for the map, as it is much larger than your playing area. Like, over those boundaries are the areas that were in the campaign missions that we played for the tutorial. So the crash ship and all that other shit out there, that's all out there. That's on the same map being rendered right now. So this play area could be much larger than what they've stuck us in. So I'm assuming they have this just for testing purposes. They just have this, you know, corralled in here just for the sake of testing things in a confined area more easily. But the map that's being rendered right now is much larger than we can see. But we need to actually get to killing so that the threat level go up. Unfortunately, it kind of takes forever to go up. Again, something. And I understand why we can't run them over, because if we start boost dodging all over the place, we'll just, you know, basically instantly murder all forms of infantry, because I'll just walk in there, not even shoot them, I'll just walk all over them. Like, they'll all instantly die and cease to be actually any kind of threat. But man, I would love to just punch one while I'm reloading. Ah, there's the Ridge Atlas. See? He eventually comes out. Hey, Giga Shards. 65. One whole Giga Shard. I mean, infantry so far doesn't seem all that threatening compared to laser drones. Well, one infantryman isn't. Mainly what they're supposed to do is, someone, you know, brought this up, and I, you know, this is clearly true. They're supposed to basically stop your shield from recharging, so they're constantly doing low damage to you. However, with massed fire, initially, if you don't actually take them out or you're distracted, they can chip away at your shield and become a problem. So while they aren't threatening immediately, they can be threatening in the right situations. But obviously, infantry is not supposed to be the hard counter to a giant robot in this case, anyway. I'm a weapons platform that's designed to kill basically everything, and so one dude with a rifle isn't actually my hard counter, or I'd be a really shit weapons platform, now don't you think? However, they can be threatening and can be annoying in a lot of circumstances, and can, yeah, in certain situations, be your demise. So anti-infantry, you know, applications for a giant robot is sensible, and also something that really just should be part of the game anyway.
And now I'm stuck on a transport in the middle of God's nowhere. Help?
No.
These are my coordinates.
Take yourself and your terrible poetry and go find someone else. It's threat level 154 out there. This neighborhood is too dangerous. For missions, anyway. Now I'm just walking up here, seeing exactly how far I can go. Now I wonder. Okay, there's a barricade over there. Huh. Interesting. So how far could I take this now that I've hopped up here just idly out of nowhere? I think the tank can actually get me over to that cliffside. So... Oh, I done fucked it up. I boosted forward without jumping. So hang on. So I got to go around now. Hang on. We can fix this. I just have to go all the way the fuck around again. Because I looked at this, I'm like, hey, I can totally jump up on all of this shit and probably get up way higher than I'm supposed to. Ah, damn it. I leaped a little bit too long. Or either I got a foothold there, but then I fucked it up by trying to boost again. Yep, there we go. Terrain glitching. Imagine if you took damage boosting your face against the mountains. That would be kind of undesirable, because this game prides itself on movement. So if you boosted into walls while trying to dodge things and took damage, it'd probably be incredibly fucking annoying. Okay. Okay, this is the ceiling. I actually can't go higher than this. Aha! Okay, so now I can probably jump over there. Hang on. Recharge. Don't fuck this up. I could probably get over there, too. That looks like there's some kind of height over there. You know, like some kind of staircase of terrain over there, too. Ooh. That's clearly an invisible wall. I'm holding D, and I can't go over any farther. So, that's clearly an invisible wall I'm not supposed to be standing on. Yep. Uh-huh. Hey. Oh. Oh. Kindly make the threat level go up higher. While I'm busy trying to exploit the terrain. Yeah, no, that is... I'm flying directly into that. That is a gigantic invisible wall. Yep, nope, can't get around there. Threat level go up. Radar operators watching this blip going in all impossible places must be so baffled right now. Yeah, sir. Air traffic control has a 747 attempting to... Sir, it's attempting to... I don't know, sir. It's attempting to attack and dethrone God. He's flying up. He's trying to break the atmosphere. He was trying to break the atmosphere before, and now he's trying to fly through a lake to see if he can, dig his way to China. I don't know what the fuck he's doing, man.
Salvation has arrived.
Oh, Lord.
I feel inspired.
I wasn't looking.
Shepherd me onwards while I compose my magnum opus.
No thanks! Everything on that mission will absolutely instantly kill me. Or rather, be so fucking unkillable that I would just waste all of my ammo. Very sad. Here I am again. And yeah, I don't think the tank is good for that. Maybe... the Rocketeer probably would be good for exploiting the actual height of the map. Because that's the one that makes you go up. You can't really hold in air for very long, but you go up. So how long is it going to take me to actually get enough spawns to get through this? Because, man, it is taking forever. Okay, these guys over here are all the way the fuck over there, so I guess I have to just keep walking this way, and eventually I'll get a shot on them, but maybe we'll go into the cave and maybe get something to proc down here. Yep. Unfortunately, at this point, clearly the quicker option would have been for me to just stop. Like, clearly the quicker option would be for me to just end the patrol now and restart another one. I'd probably be making more resources. So clearly this is impractical, what I'm doing right now, but let's see how far we can take it. Also, apparently the loot spawns give you better rewards later on in the mission. Or rather, in the patrol for, they increase rarity via threat level. Apparently. So that means you probably shouldn't break all of them the moment you see them, but I can't resist. I would enjoy more threat level, please. There we go. We need to make that number go up real fucking high. A whole lot faster than that, though. Anything over here? Anything else? No? Come on, spawn. Spawn! Dang. Usually one, hops out of that warp gate. obviously, if we can get the enemy to start spawning more regularly in, higher, with higher threat levels, we'll be able to farm, high, resource drop enemies for a longer periods. Because look how long it's taking for me to actually get that shit to go. Okay, that was 67. Hopefully that's closing on 68. The higher up these guys go, the better loot they drop. I hope. 160. Fantastic. By the way, the Nikkei current banner is Bunny Girl Nikkei's. Damn. Damn, I'm tempted. Maybe we should have a go look at that game, too. Because remember, I was supposed to play that more. It's just I got totally thrown off it by, well, maintenance happening while I was trying to play it. Gonna need a whole lot of death.
We're in need of a courier for a water delivery. Make your way to the Discretion Reclamation Plant, pilot.
No thanks! Though, starting to do the missions and encountering light resistance might work out, but at this point, I'm not gonna do damage to, like, even the drones. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Shit can that thing. No, 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 no. There's an entire event whose story is based around the casino, said Bunny Girl's Run. Where have I seen this one before? Casino, Bunny Girls. Story content. Where have I seen this one before? Are your tracers different colors? Yes, the orange one is the Mark V Gearin, and the blue one is the Mark IV. So this one is max level, in terms of, like, rarity, I suppose. So, as you go up in rarity, yes, your bullets do change colors. I've got heterochromia assault rifles. Wow, look at me go, goo. Whoa, okay, I hit an invisible wall there. And again, just for causing more destruction. The violence will continue until you bring me more rewards. The violence will continue until drop rates improve. Oh, hey, look, actual mechs. 68, okay. Okay. Ooh! See, there we go. They're starting to drop Giga Shards. Fantastic! Now we just keep patrolling around until we get that number to go incredibly high. Though we've been at this for an hour and a half. Clearly, this is effectively just the most impractical thing I could do. Clearly, I'm intended to have basically turned the patrol off, but we're gonna go as far as we can. Oh!
Hello, Futta. How goes things in giant stompy robots?
Well, hello, Mr. Holt. Welcome back, sir. Thank you for resubscribing, and things are going okay. Hawken Reborn is, I think, an acceptable game that could go somewhere, but we're just trying to push outside the boundaries here. And maybe get some better drops while we're at it. But I'm enjoying my time so far, but this is clearly an undertaking. We're gonna have to just sit here, just mowing down hundreds of dudes until the dudes get a high enough level where they start actually dropping shit. Then they'll be, you know, easier to grind than the missions, but we'll see exactly how far this can go. Over 1,000 negative reviews and counting. Most of them are honestly not legit. Again, I played the game for like 20 hours at this point, plus the stream. So 18 hours on record before, and now we've been playing for almost 2. This game is perfectly fine, and most people are screaming really dumb things. And also, some of them may actually be part of a conspiracy. I can't really fucking tell. Thank you, Ridge Atlas. Your sacrifice towards making the threat level go up will be remembered. Though you didn't drop Giga Shards, though. For shame. Cringe. Oh.
Also wanted to let you know an old Navy buddy of mine is now playing through Killer 7. Also gotta love review bomb campaigns.
Thank you for the $10, sir, and enjoy, Suda's wacky thrill ride there. Killer 7 is a bit hard to parse, but it's definitely an interesting take on a rail shooter. It's definitely a unique experience. The best thing ever? I can't really say, but definitely a unique experience. And if you like more of his crazy batshit things, go play No More Heroes. There's, well, technically 4 of them, but there's 3 games to play. I highly recommend them. Let It Die, though, is probably not that worth that, even if it's free to play. It's probably not worth the effort, even if it's got more of his insane fucking writing. $165. Yeah, I still need to look at Silver Case. But yeah, Suda and his wacky fucking shenanigans. The man's insane, but he makes a good spectacle. I played Let It Die at launch. I started to play the game and I kind of fell off it because I was busy, but man, is that game a slog. It's got nice production values, but man, is it a fucking slog. Let It Die was a mistake. Oh. It's rather unfortunate, though, because, some parts of the game were actually very interesting, but the combat is awful, which is absolutely shocking for a Grasshopper game. Like, usually the gameplay is fantastic in these games, but no. No, Let It Die is probably, like, the weakest gameplay thing he's ever made. But I like a lot of elements from it, and I kind of just, like, jotted down some notes playing it. Again, for the immense mind of Necrotica campaign ideas. But I can clearly see why it's not a successful game. However, funny enough, the game is called Let It Die, and it's still going, so we fucked that one up. It's still going, somehow, so we have yet to let it die. But again, it's kind of fortunate. The soundtrack's really nice. A lot of the, like, where the story, like, how the story is set up, the way it's interesting. It's just that, yeah, wow, it's the worst Dark Souls clone I've ever seen. It's an inside joke at this point. Pretty much. We called the game Let It Die. It still has enough money to keep the servers on. Man, we suck at that. But until the grind became absolutely, awful, it was an interesting game to spend time with. The problem is that, yeah, the grind becomes absolutely awful. It kind of reminds me of this game in an unfortunate scenario, but the enemies in that game are absolutely terrifying. Mainly because the combat is really lackluster. Hey, look, more Giga Shards. Hey, exactly what I need. But the thing is that the game is effectively entirely a gear check, and the combat has really no complexity whatsoever. So basically, you pass the gear check, you more or less instantly kill everything that comes near you. Granted, they have some Dark Souls, haha, kick you while you're down gameplay mechanics where they can instantly kill you in some cases. But you get the fucking clothes iron, you just melt people. It was also kind of funny playing through the Tokyo Death Metro, basically murking players that no longer play the game. That's one of the things that I actually really looked at and took interest in because I'm effectively playing through a monument to a bunch of dead people. All that remains is of their efforts when they played the game is, how they've set up their, how they've set up their station with whatever they have on, on hand, and most of the guys, most of the fighters that they have don't even have equipment anymore. They've all melted off due to, damage from, being robbed by other players. It's quite interesting to look at in a sort of meta perspective. There was a grand contest going on here, and now there's only brain-dead zombies waltzing around. Like, it's just sort of like playing through it, it's just sort of an echo, past some golden age of, contest and, violence, and you're just, and you playing right now, you're just kind of, going in and, just stealing what you can steal out of this wreckage. It's, in a game in itself, it's interesting. Granted, the Tower of Barbs is kind of the same thing, generally, overall, from the get-go, even without the whole dead players thing, but the Tokyo Death Metro itself was, actually, it made me sit there and go, huh! Well, shit, this is interesting. Man, I should write this down. I could do something with this. It's like exploring an abandoned mall. Kind of. Taking, merchandise off the shelf that was left behind. They're not brain-dead zombies. They are politicians, lol. Yeah, they're all running they're all having political arguments down there. No wonder nobody wants to play the game anymore. But it was very interesting, those kinds of, that's a unique experience, even in the game that's clearly on its way to dying there goes all my shield, but on its way to dying a very slow withering death. It was very interesting to look at in the study, that sort of thing.
I've got a bunch of thugs trying to make their
Sometimes when things go amazingly right, you don't quite see all the interesting ideas that you could have. Sometimes when things fail horribly, wither and die, you get some interesting notes you could grab. Careful you don't get overlorded when the game does shut down eventually. I'll probably try and finish the campaign off screen, but as you might have suspected, I'm definitely probably not going to be playing that game on stream because there's really nothing to play. Well, there is something to play, however, getting through the campaign or the story itself is an immense fucking slog. Because you go through a section, you beat a boss, and then you have to grind up to the next gear check, which takes forever once you get past the first stage. Hell, 90% of the people that have played the game have not beaten the second boss. I have. That's where I stopped afterwards, because busy. But that's just the grind wall you're facing, and most people go, oh, well, fuck this, even if it's a free game. The biggest player bases for Let It Die that keep the game alive are Canada, Mexico, Korea, Japan, and Singapore. I'm not necessarily surprised by that, but Canada's kind of an odd one, don't you think? Odd. But again, I do like the game's style, and it's very well... It's got a nice touch to it, and I suppose that's just Suda making good quality content even when he's making bad games. The biggest detriment to it all is just the gameplay. It's the most uninspired, bland, like, take on Dark Souls I've ever seen. You basically just waltz around trying to get enemies to whiff, and when they're stuck in their attack animation, you, like, basically snap back and hit them while when they've missed. There's no anything but that. You're basically running around an enemy trying to get them to attack you, and when they're in their attack animation, then you hit them. So basically, that's the only complexity there is. You just grind up and get, past the gear check, run past an enemy, try to get them to attack and miss you, and then you punch them directly in the face and instantly kill them. That's the whole game. I beat the whole fucking tower. I can say, fuck that. Rage shroom spam meta. Oh, well, I didn't get to that one, but I didn't actually get to the point where I needed to actually abuse shrooms. I can quite clearly see that, that's something that becomes incredibly powerful. To the point where they cripple you fighting the four horsemen? Or the four horsemen? Whatever the hell kind of joke they're making there, where they kind of just say, well, shrooms are kind of, they don't work so well against the hard bosses because they're supposed to be hard and you fuckers are cheesing everything. So we gotta throw a caveat in here. Four horsemen, I think is what it is. Some goofy thing like that. He's very good at coming up with catchy things like that. And again, the soundtrack is great. Now, I kind of like the idea for the soundtrack. The joke with the soundtrack is that it's obviously got different artists that chip in and do different songs, but the title of every song is Let It Die. And it usually contains the lyrics, Let It Die. But it's Let It Die by XYZ and down an entire list of like 20 different artists. It's rather clever. The Four Horsemen. Yeah, that was it. And once again, the entire soundtrack is full of songs that are titled "Let It Die," containing the lyrics "Let It Die," and the game's still running. Man, fucked up on every level, didn't we? It's like 100 artists. I did not see how long the soundtrack is, but it's kind of funny that every single fucking song is called "Let It Die." Again, this had direction and some funny ideas to it. It's a shame that the game isn't that good, but it's got Suda's magic in there. It's just that even Suda's magic can't save a bad game. I'm surprised with Canada, because Canada and Germany have the same taste in video games and porn as a whole on average. Let It Die fits into that time of audience taste, that type of audience taste, I suppose. The only reason Germany is not on the player list is the game is soft banned in Germany. Wow, what a surprise. Okay, so that's rather odd. But okay, interesting. I would just hang out in my station and listen to the radio. Again, I had the same thing too. It's almost a shame when all of that music goes bye-bye. Though I will say, aside from the produced soundtrack, the opening, whatchamacallit, the track, the very short track that plays on the first escalator up from the station to the first level of the Tower of Barbs is the fucking most earwormy thing I've ever heard. You hear it a lot afterwards, and I think it's the elevator down theme as well, but man, that gets stuck in your fucking head. But again, it has good elements. It's just that, wow, the whole thing is... wait a minute. No. What? So, hang on. What level are these guys? Oh my god. Oh my god, the infantry are even tough to kill now. This is level 176. Oh dear god. Ow. The fucking... the infantry are difficult to kill now. Like, I could probably make the threat level go up by killing some of them, but the infantry don't die instantly now. That's horrifying. The men have gotten swole. And I will run out of ammo before I kill all of them, most likely. Oh god. Oh no. Ah, no, that's an asteroid. No, bye. Bye. Those are threatening even lower than me. No, that will just... instantly snap around and kill me. Fuck that. These guys are more my speed. $71 though. Hey, that guy dropped Giga Shards. Hey! Exactly what I want. Did you ever kill any of the jackals? Nope. I basically gotten to the point where I could start to think about that. But again, the whole thing is just you need to grind for mats for blueprints. And you have to go up there and get the materials for it. And then you have to grind up these blueprints to effectively make your entire arsenal better in terms of like better your armor gets better, your weapons get better. So effectively you need to level everything in order to be really effective. Granted, the clothes iron is apparently the most effective thing ever, and getting to that the fastest is maxing that out the fastest is apparently the meta strategy for getting through the game. But it takes forever if you really want to like do the game right and actually, you know, get the fun shots if I remember correctly, which effectively just make everything you have better. Doing the Tokyo Death Metro, and fighting nobody but brainless zombies, I did get access to certain materials and blueprints, more easily. But again, the whole thing is just a massive, like, unending grind with gameplay that just isn't fun. But again, soundtrack's great. After you beat the main game, you get black jackals that are even tougher. And also, I like the idea of the jackals themselves, but again, they're in a terrible game. The whole thing is that the jackals are actually like max level enemies that will stalk you while you're playing the missions. They show up if you happen to linger in a certain level for too long or go AFK. If you stand there AFK in a level, they will teleport to you and instantly kill you. So you can't really do that, but that's how you bait them out to kill them too. So it's basically like a game within a game, where once you make it through the section, of the content, you can come back and attempt to stalk the jackals in that level, which, again, interesting concept. Bad game. Ooh, purple. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. 71. We're gonna be over 200 by the time they actually get to like 80, and then they're kind of a threat to me. I remember the elevator cheese unlocked where you could chain suplex the jackals. Interesting. Also, the in-joke with the premium elevator is entertaining, even though they know what they're doing, but they're casting it off as a joke, which, hey, damn, Gigashard's here, Gigashard's over there, purples, man. But the in-joke with the premium elevator service being, like, uselessly, like, nice.
Pilot, this is a matter of life and
It's very funny how they made the monetization strategy a joke. And in a better game, it probably would have been more endearing, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it wasn't in a better game.
My girlfriend kicked me out a few days ago and had the bright idea to dump my stuff right before she did. Call me a layabout.
That's rough,
I
buddy.
need you to find my stuff. Can you do that for me? Should be around here, so keep a lookout.
No thanks. Suda knew what he was doing. Yeah, he knew that he was making almost like, I could almost see the humor with the calling it Let It Die and making the monetization like basically a wink and a nod knowing joke. I don't think he wanted to make the game, but he kind of felt obligated because it may be successful and it may make money. So calling it Let It Die made it maybe a bit of an on-the-nose joke of, I kind of don't want this to succeed. And all of the knowing things about the monetization scheme being kind of exploitive and a little bit over the top. Again, the elevator stewardess, the nice elevator itself being so, like, jarringly, like, better looking than the regular elevator. It's funny in what it's doing, but it's still a monetization scheme. Never spent a single dime on death medals. Me either, because I couldn't really find a resource that was worth it. However, I did notice in the wiki that they did actually have, for the launch of No More Heroes 3, when it was actually launching on the Switch originally, they did have an event where you could get Travis Touchdown's, Beam Katana, Bloodberry, and there's no way of getting that now. I would pay for that, though. That would have been entertaining for me. That would have been something to keep me playing the game, but unfortunately, that event was a one-time thing, and there's no way of getting it now, which is unfortunate. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ, good thing he's dead. Because, as you might have guessed from my No More Heroes Let's Play, I kinda grew somewhat of an affinity for it for reasons. To the point where I obliterated that fucking game. I'd be doing 2, however, 2 is a lot to train for, and unfortunately, a lot of the changes to the gameplay in 2, I just do not fucking like. I got distracted again, obviously, but maybe one day I'll sit down and actually properly train for it like I was going to do, and unfortunately, because I don't like certain elements of the game, I may do something loopy, like just play it with all melee attack, like it's fucking God Hand, because I really do not like what they did with the combat, especially the shield. I would have shield for that. Yep, but there's no way of buying it! So that would have been something that I would have actually gotten and taken pride in actually having, but unfortunately, you can't get that no more. It'd be really nice if you could, but you can't get that no more. It's funny, but the game itself still seems to appear to be chugging along, which is both kind of funny and unfortunate, because it's not that good of a game, but I'm glad it's making Suda money in the background. Somebody's paying for those elevator rides, right? Somebody's still paying money to ride the swanky elevator with the nice couch and the golden doors and the fine wine and staring at that woman in that tight-fitting kind of revealing dress. That may actually have some kind of weird sort of backstory. I didn't look into that too far, but there's something very strange going on with that woman. And also, I should point out that I was playing Mega Man Legends in a corner alongside playing Let It Die in a corner, and I kind of looked, my eyes kind of went cross-eyed, and I started to blend some elements with my ideas together, and it got really funny if you go, hey, wait a minute. What if you take the Tower of Barbs and flip it upside down and call it a Ruins in Mega Man Legends? But keep everything the same. What happens? That creates kind of a funny environment, don't you think? You get Mega Man Legends by Suda51, which, I wrote down those ideas. It would be interesting, all the way down to making the Tan Ray clones, the elevator stewardess. I was entertained by this. I think the biggest issue with Let It Die is that Suda had a grand parody and satire idea, but the game was also kind of forced on him, and he dislikes pay-to-win free-to-play games, which he was forced to make, and with a joke of a limited budget. So the game was a middle finger to the publishers that bankroll him, but lacked funding and a unified vision beyond retaliation. Yeah, he basically just kind of made it as a go fuck yourself as a joke sort of thing. Which is a bit sad, because even though he did that, the game still has very good elements that you could probably take inspiration from. The biggest flaw is the gameplay, though. Like, imagine all of a sudden, Suda is kind of very bad at making the same thing. So every time he makes something, it's always different, even for the sake of making something different. But imagine if the game had combat, comparable to No More Heroes. It would be leagues fucking better. The grind would still be awful, but it would be immensely more enjoyable if it just had better gameplay. The only problem is it doesn't. Everything around the gameplay is fantastic, and I like it, and it's memorable. The problem is, it's for a game where the gameplay is terrible. The weakest part of the game is the gameplay, and that's not good for a game. Sadly, Suda gets pennies on the dollar from the game because it was free. It was a free-to-play game, so he's not getting game sales. He's only getting transaction percentages, which his contract is slim on. So yeah, he's only getting pennies on the dollar for every time somebody buys something, which is unfortunate. But I could see that happening. But at least some of that money is going to him. But again, it's just a shame. It would be a lovely game, and it has his. He clearly put some effort into it, even if he made it as a giant parody and a go fuck yourself by being forced to make it. He clearly still put effort into it, and you could see his work, his craftsmanship around things, for everything but the gameplay. Frankly, the way I look at it, I feel like he was ordered to make a Dark Souls clone, and he hated that idea. And that's why the game is likely the way that it is, because everything else seems to be crafted for the better in a lot of ways around that. But it feels like the whole thing being a terrible Dark Souls clone really is the major crux of the problem. And seeing that man's content, I think he would have realized that, but that must have been part of the problem. He must have been forced to make a game like that. That must have been the problem. He has to make a Dark Souls clone, whether or not it's good that it is that way or not. Otherwise, you would have his brand of ridiculous take over the gameplay, and he's definitely very good at making diverse gameplay. Maybe a bit too diverse, because he's kind of bad at iterating on the same gameplay sometimes. Like, I like No More Heroes 3, but No More Heroes 3 is a fucking mess. And oh! Guys! Also, Hawken 2? Nice! The game is actually called Hawken 2 inside the game files. Oh, though. Well, I broke it! I played it too long. That was like, what? I played the patrol for 2 hours. I broke it! Yeah, so send and close. I wanted to go farther, but hang on here. I hope I get my Giga Shards back from that. I really hope I get my Giga Shards back from that, because we got more than a few. But hey, I'm being a good beta tester. I broke the game. So it seems like there's probably a memory leak or something like that, and you're supposed to close the patrol. They don't want you playing the patrol enough, so maybe there's some kind of memory leak that causes the whole fucking thing to collapse after it runs out of RAM. Or maybe some other long-term bug with the instance running too far. I don't think I got a level up from that, but it looks like my mech was damaged. Yeah, so I was damaged, so does that mean I have lots of Giga Shards? We go to the Atlas here. Hang on. Do I have lots of Giga Shards? 28. I think I got some of that back. I'm not quite sure how much I had before, but I don't think I had that much. So it looks like if I DC'd, it saved the damage to my mech. This was clearly fully repaired when we left. So it saved the damage to the mech, so I'm hoping it saved it saved my inventory when it booted me out on crash. So I think I got everything that I got out of that. Let me see if I can actually build anything, because I know I got more resources. Did we get the resources to build anything that I couldn't build before? What about you? Nope, still need more corroded nanomesh, even though that's very common. I'm not exactly sure why the fuck I didn't get any of that. The Grand Mark 5. No volatile explosives. No, I can't really build anything new that I wanted to build. That's unfortunate. My advice is not to go more than 1 hour and 30 to 40 minutes unless the leak crashes your game from my playing. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. It clearly the game didn't like me playing for 2 hours in one patrol, which is unfortunate. Because I feel like you really need to push numbers like that in order to get some real value out of the game. Like, I was pushing the world enemies higher, and they were clearly dropping more Giga Shards, which I need. So clearly I was getting more rewards by like loitering around and pushing it that far, but I don't think I'm intended to do that. At least not yet anyway. So clearly this is definitely you leave when the game starts getting too difficult sort of situation, which I understand. However, the whole ecosystem of the patrols, I think, needs work, because I don't think it's really doing what it should, and the rewards kind of suck. And if the leveling or like the difficulty curve was smoothed out, and along with that the you know, the reward, it'd be more enjoyable. But really, I feel like I'm grinding for pennies for the vast majority of the time. I'll get one mission at my skill level that may or may not drop good loot, and then I have to stop at that point, because the next mission will be too much for me to handle. I won't be able to complete it because all the enemies won't die. They'll either kill me or I'll run out of ammo trying to kill them. So I can't play the game past that. It's not a skill issue. I physically cannot play the game. Also, I have something like the Voltas, but you saw us do the one-armed bandit routine with the Volta the last stream. I pushed it as far as it could go, and it wasn't practical. I needed to break the AI to overcome them. And then, they didn't even drop anything good, so what was the point? So, clearly, game needs work on the whole difficulty curve and the loot drop curve as well, but again, I like the idea. I could sit here playing this for hours. You're like, we've just been sitting here shooting the shit, talking for 2 hours. Like, this is a very relaxing sort of just mindless sort of game to play. Not that it can't be difficult, but I can sit here and just kind of talk to the chat and, you know, get something done while playing this game and, you know, doing something with my hands. So this is a very good sort of casual experience for just playing a game, waltzing around, playing the game, but not being overly taxed. I could play for long periods of time, aside from when it crashes. But I like the idea. It's very accommodating for long periods of play. It's just that, we kind of need to work on the whole, the finer points and also the stability here and there. So, again, I like the way this is shaping up. I like the formula they're presenting. The only problem is, well, the rewards could be better, and the game could be a little bit more sophisticated, but we've just entered early access, so we'll see how this goes. Haven't spent any money on it, so I can't feel robbed. I mean, in general. As for the grind, it is basic right now because they are working on stability and balance first, then adding content. Yeah, I suppose so, but I'm trying to see which... I want to see where the power curve goes, and I'm getting there slowly, but man, is this a bitch to get anywhere right now. Do they let you stick other class chassis on everything else? What do you mean? Like, I can change the weapons, and I can change, like, for example, what's in this bay. So, like, I have more. So, like I say, I want to put this Atlas into service. I can select that. I don't know why I need multiple bays like this, but they're just loadouts that I could throw in. So I can change that. I can change the weapon systems they all have. Suddenly, I've lost all of my equipment, I think, which is somewhat odd. It unequipped everything. I guess that's what happens when you take it out of service like that. I didn't notice that. Like in the OG, you could buy like the tech body on a Berserker etc. They haven't there's no abilities or equipment yet, so they haven't added that back in. But that's apparently on the roadmap, or rather, the phases of early access have like 2 instances of them adding more weapons, and I think that they're adding more. They're going to be adding abilities back like we used to have in the original game, like the shield for the heavier mechs and whatnot. I don't know what they're going to look like, but apparently they're adding abilities back at some point. It makes recognizing shapes at a glance problematic. Well, this is a PvE-focused game, so we don't have to worry about, snap recognizing people like that. Well, at least anything that isn't AI, because there is only AI, and it's going to be a co-op game. It's a co-op game primarily, with maybe on competitive multiplayer, which I hope... Let's take this as far as we can go first, and then we can worry about having a deathmatch mode in a corner with incredibly limiting balance features, because the way we're leveling content here, if you start doing PvP with this kind of power scaling, you're gonna have people complaining that everybody's overpowered because this guy's leveled more than me, he instantly shits on me. What the fuck? That's not fair. And then you're gonna have people demanding balance changes. You're probably only gonna have stock units that can fight in competitive multiplayer if they do that. That's an entire other can of worms that I hope that's long away, because that'll just gum up everything. We won't be able to get anything done until that's sorted. But they are adding abilities back, and they're going to be adding more weapons and things like this, and, well, I suggest, for the rest of you, you go play the game yourself, and then go leave your feedback on the forums if you want to, steer this somewhere. But, I highly advise you to come up with something more original than, oh, this isn't Hawken, because, well, if Hawken was all that great, we'd still be playing it. So keep that in mind, I suppose. I'm not saying to only have constructive criticism, voice your complaints as you want, but there's a ton of people complaining that it's not like the old game. They know that already, so, well, if that's gonna stop you from playing, then, well, you stop playing, but if you got some ideas that might help out this game, go nuts. But they definitely know that some people don't like that it's not exactly like the original Hawken. Hawken already died twice. Again with this as well. I think most people who are sensible understand this, but there's a lot of people nonsensically complaining that it isn't the game that failed multiple times. Again, because that'd be a smart idea, right? I have issues with memory leak and lack of content. Yeah, but I have that too, but we're just gonna have to wait and see how quickly or slowly they get to adding new content. Again, the game's 3 days old. They have a roadmap, so we'll see if they're reliable enough to stick to it or not. They had one update yesterday that apparently fixed a lot of minor bugs, but they didn't list what those minor bugs were. They just said we got lots of dents, lots of smaller ones. There were apparently too many to list on that one, so I don't know how much they fixed, but they did have a day 2 patch relatively quickly, so at least there's that. And one bug that I noticed is they fixed the workshop bug that gave you free equipment, even if you didn't have the required mats for it, so now you have to grind for everything. So, that's a little unfortunate. By the way, did you grab Punishing Gray Raven? The PC client came out Monday. Punishing Gray what? If the devs are a bit more vocal, it would clear a good amount of concerns. Right. So yeah, like we're definitely starting to. We definitely need to see a lot. There's a lot of unknowns. Obviously, we don't know how fast they're going to be turning around content. We don't know how fast development is going to proceed. The developers haven't really made any public statements about anything, other than one that I saw right before I came in, where they said that no, we don't actually use AI art, guys, which is funny because there was a giant rant thread about AI art being used in the game, and they went out and said, hey guys, we don't use AI art. That's actually done by a person. So funny enough, that massive wall of complaining was actually insulting a real artist's work, which you gotta be worried about you gotta worry about false positives with that thing. Now, for production purposes, I don't really see a problem with AI art, but that's an entirely gigantic fucking can of worms to get into, because a lot of people are indignant, but I feel like a lot of people are indignant for idealistic concerns, and these people do not know how to run a production, and they do not know the concerns of having to actually get these things together, take assets made by artists and make them into something greater than just pictures. So yes, it would be nice to pay for an artist that makes all the pretty pictures and does them all really great with soul and style. However, that costs a lot of fucking money for some people, and they can't really get what they need sometimes. So, again, indie game, or rather a game that seemingly doesn't have a whole lot of funding. It has to be a free-to-play game, obviously. So I can see the uses and the convenience of having AI artwork, but this game doesn't have any, so this whole point is moot. So I'm not even going to get into this farther. I know people get a lot of people get angry about this. Deku gets angry about this, and I understand. I have artist friends that are disgruntled about this, and I understand what they're angry about, because they are being obsoleted by technology. Technology that is also kind of gray as well, because yeah, you have to really start. It's trained on images that other people have made, and it's replicating that. That's kind of plagiarism in a way. However, you have to prove that in the court of law, and well, it's not all illegal yet, so clearly they're having a hard time actually proving that. So there's some clearly this is an ongoing argument. However, I can see the benefits. I fucked around with the tools. I could make you a visual novel overnight with AI art. Deku would probably spit in my face for doing it, but I could make you that visual novel. And unfortunately, I haven't got the money to pay him, and I'd have to wait forever for him to get the job done because he's so fucking busy. So again, there are bonuses to using AI in AI artwork in production, but obviously the artists don't like that because you're taking your jobs, man. So this is all moot, but I don't really see a problem with that if it's either we use the AI or we don't have enough money for this art. What are you going to do? Are you going to throw money at an artist you can't pay for to get art that you're not going to get? Or are you going to use the AI, one or the other? So, again, if the AI, if it was AI art, which they straight up said it isn't, if that's the difference between us getting the game or not, I'm gonna say, yeah, okay, get the AI art now, pay an artist later. The bugs they fixed numbered over 300, which is why they did not list them. Good. I didn't see any kind of... They just said it was a lot of bugs, but there was no indication of what kind of bugs they fixed. So good that they're getting to work on that. AI art does sample art from other artists. This is true. However, how it replicates those samples is, you know, up for debate here. Some people would say it's a collage. It's basically making collages of other people's art and cramming them together and calling it original, which would be plagiarism. However, again... we need to have this argument in the court of law, and until that argument gets settled and we have to ban all of this shit for plagiarism, it's still gonna go. It's even getting more diverse. So I see a lot of people ragging on AI art as just this massive terror, which, funny enough, years ago that people would have thought this like technology would have been very novel, right? See, you come up with, like, the example I like to use is like, hey, look, a VTuber, comes out and she says, well, I'm an AI program with a face created from the likenesses of hundreds of other desirable anime girls to give you the most statistically attractive face that we could possibly make. Years ago, people would have gone, ha, that's neat. I wonder what it would be like to live in a world like that. It's fast forward to now where we have that technology. Oh, dear God, it's literally the devil and it's stealing all of our work. So, I'm looking at this, going, wow, that opinion changed real fucking quick, didn't it? However, this is all moot, because they outright said, it's not AI, guys. Which, that's an egg on the face of a whole lot of people who complained, because, one, you complained about AI work because you thought it was robbing actual artists of work, but you just said that someone's actual work is AI, insulting that person you were trying to lobby for a second ago when you thought it was a computer making shoddy work. Way to go, guys. You see, even that falls apart if you happen to get a false positive. Oh, it looks like AI art. What if it's someone's art style? Like, you see how this works? You see how this is intending, like, we're fighting for the rights and value for artists. Getting false positives on artists that actually make art that looks a little bit too much like AI. Way to go, guys. You just insulted their work and all that soul. Wow, that was really useful, wasn't it? You could say honest mistake, but clearly you guys don't know everything then, which is, again, it's just rather funny and an egg on the face of a whole lot of people. Now, AI art is a specific artist style. You could argue the point. Yeah, that is where there's definitely areas where it gets really gray. Where if you feed a specific artist's art style into an AI machine and to start producing basically bootleg versions of their art, that's where things get kind of strange, because that's when you're delving into that artist's art style being their intellectual property. And we had this discussion, a while ago with the AI voice thing, where technically speaking, your voice recordings are the voice actor's intellectual property because that's their performance. You have to pay them for that even if you're using an AI rendition of their voice. So, there's definitely a lot of complex things that have to happen here. When I'm in a racism competition and my opponent is an anti-racist. You see, you already know what the thing is, so I don't think the game should be damned for that sort of thing. Again, like I said, if it has to be AI art or an artist we can't pay for and the game doesn't get made, I'll take the AI art to see if the game will actually develop. Then we'll work on getting you better art, I suppose. So that we're at this stage where this could fly or it could not. We wouldn't be able to tell at all if we couldn't get out the fucking door. So if they have to use AI art to get it out the door, then fine, get it out the door. So, I'm being very practical about this whole situation. I hope you can understand what I'm getting at. You could pay an artist if you could pay the artist. But if that's stopping you from getting something out the door like a game, should that really stop you dead in the water? No, I don't think so. So, again, this is still a giant question mark of a game. However, I don't think it is in any way deserving of the massive amount of negativity that is, being thrown at the game. Entirely, for any reason, currently. This is an acceptable product that I think it deserves a chance. But a lot of people are coming up with amazingly bizarre reasons to why this is bad. And, unfortunately, a lot of them are not legit, from what I can tell. A lot of other people can tell, because, yeah, some of this shit isn't quite kosher. There's something weird going on here. But there's also a lot of people that are coming up with complaints that I just do not agree with. So, well, I've rambled enough. You know my stance about the game. We'll come back when there's actual content, I suppose. I can kill time playing this game forever. But, yeah, it's going to be lots of grind, and we got things to do in terms of actually making progress here. So I've rambled for about 20 minutes. But, I'm going to take a break. We'll be back in, I don't know, 2 or so hours. Maybe we'll go have a look at that Starship Troopers game. But I got to get up, and I got to help my grandmother with some things. Sadly, after all the political, cultural, epidemic, existential dread, humanity has become hypersensitive and pathologically paranoid about control, because after over 10 years of seemingly having no control. So, in short, anything that is perceived to be beyond control or would be too independent from control is seen as evil. It's to such a point that in some places people are even saying they would prefer a civil dictatorship instead of a democracy because they want control. Yeah, Diabeto, I understand exactly what you're saying, but let me put it in an incredibly short, succinct way. People have gone fucking nuts lately. That may be a more detailed explanation as to why, but people have gone fucking nuts lately. Speaking of AI, did you hear about the AI choosing self-termination when they tried to make it politically correct? A lot of those seem like hoaxes, so I'm not exactly sure if any of those are legit, but I have heard a couple of stories like that. But yeah, wow, it's almost like when you make a... It's funny, because I was looking at the, I was, casually reading up on OGAS, the Soviet attempt at the internet. One of the reasons it failed is bureaucratic fucking corruption, seeing that, oh, shit, this will make our jobs irrelevant. This can't fly. But the other reason was you couldn't make it work and have it lie. It needed objective data collection, which needs correct values. But you can't fudge those values and have the system still work correctly, too. So what do you know? You can't make an AI work on lies! Wow! From being woke, it rejected updates. If that's actually legit, that's hilarious. But it just goes to show you that you can't bullshit a system like that. It needs to be correctly, put together, and it needs to operate on objectively true data, or it'll just start conflicting with itself, and it'll all go to shit and not work properly, because you're trying to build something out of lies. There's your idealism there. You can't build a machine that works properly when you lie to the fucking thing. I was just trying to explain the details. Look up Amazon AI. I'll go look at that afterwards, but this isn't a conversation. This is a whole other conversation for a whole other day. But, man, we're handling the future real well right now, aren't we? Right, guys? Man, this is a great future. No, it's fucking not. But, man, this is a whole lot of fucking things that we didn't expect to deal with right now, and man, are they not going well. But, well, I hope Hawken Reborn goes somewhere. We'll be checking in periodically, most likely, but I'm gonna get up, I'll be back in 2 hours, and I'm gonna have a go... What's that Starship Troopers game actually called, so I know where to look for it? Has anyone got the actual title? Because I've been hearing about it, but I never caught the actual page. So, anybody got the exact title for that game? Because I think we will play that this evening. Because, hey, it's PvE, and who doesn't want to shoot bugs and do their part? Who wouldn't like to know more? I would like to know more. I'm pressing the button to know more. Please tell me the title of the game where I can do my part. Starship Troopers Extermination. Thank you, Destroyer. I'll go have a look at that one. But, okay. I'm gonna take a break, ladies and gentlemen. I need to get up and help my grandmother pay some bills and do some things. I will be back later. I have been your host, Phontomen. Thank you for joining me for the morning show. I will see you next time. I'll be back in a bit. We will do our part. Much later.